All right. Is it me or are you guys seeing this weird? Because it looks backwards to me. It's just a tiny bit unclear. All right, there we go. There's one. So maybe it just looks backward in the screen. So let's look at 3. Let me see if I can zoom in on 3. See if we can do this. Can you guys see 3? Does it make sense? Maybe. Because on my screen it looks backwards, but I just will ignore the screen and I'll do the work. Can you see it now? All right. All right, let's practice then. So on your exam, they're going to use this a lot, like the measure of angle 1, measure of angle 2. They're going to ask you for the angle relations before they do this. Now, this is basic. All ones on your exam are going to ask you to solve an equation, like in the next one. But this one's basic. So we'll start with the basic ones. All right, can you guys hear me? Is that clear? We'll chat and we'll talk, since there's only 2 of you on here right now. Awesome. All right, so should I wait till 8? What do you think? Since I'm not supposed to start till 8, but you know, screwing around, here we go. All right, let's do this. I'm gonna wait a couple minutes. What I'm gonna do is I'll put up a bunch of problems for you to look at and copy down, and then that I'm gonna do, and then we can go back. So. We are going to do all of these problems. Let's see, this way. Can you see those? All right, these are the problems we're gonna do. So if you wanna copy them down, and then we will get to them at 8 o'clock in 6 minutes, and we'll see how this actually goes. All right, you can copy down these problems, see if you can do them on your own. Sorry, I'm playing with this. I don't know which way makes it straighter or not straighter. Probably this way. And we'll see how this works. I know I'm on early. I just tried to make sure this worked, so you guys can just hang out. All right, friends, so we're starting with these 5. These are very much like what you'll see on the exam. This one does not break it down as far as you need to put in the theorem or postulate or the angle relation. Remember, we use all 3 of those kind of interchangeably. So the 3 are theorem, angle relation or relationship, and I know on one of the worksheets it said postulate. Okay. And when we ask those things, we're asking for the stuff we've been going over this whole time. So we're asking for things like alternate interior or exterior, corresponding. We're asking for vertical or supplementary, linear pair, all those ones we've been going over in class. And remember, you only have 2 options all the time. Your options are going to be they're equal to each other or they're equal to 180. So far, so good. Can everybody hear me? Is it working? Kind of working? Am I straight? It's so weird. I feel like I'm talking to myself because I'm at home by myself. All right. You guys are going to have to chime in if you want me to do a specific problem, if you want me to go slower, if you want me to redo a problem, you want me to solve it all the way, let me know. This worksheet, I think, was given by Mr. David's class, or was done in Mr. David's class. So this one's Mr. David's. I don't know if you guys have seen these problems. If not, copy them down. We're going to go through these. All right, let's start. I'm only going to be on here till we're done. All right, let's start with number 5. These 2 right here. These 2 right here are same side interior angles. So when it asks you to actually write the angle relation, this one's going to be same side interior. And with same side interior angles, they're going to be equal to 180. Correct. These are equal to 180. So we're going to add these up and set them equal to 180. So when it asks you to write your equation, your equation will look like this. 2x minus 10 plus 4x plus 16 equals 180. Remember we talked about this today when you need to combine like terms on the same side. So this one and this one get combined. 4 plus 2, 6x. And then negative 10 and positive 16 get combined for a positive 6, and that is equal to 180. And then you go ahead and just solve. Subtract 6 from both sides. 6x is going to be equal to 174. Going to divide both sides by 6. And then x will be equal to 29. If you leave your answer like this on the exam, I'll take it. Okay, unless you're going to have to plug it back in. That's going to be pretty ugly to plug it back in for. Let's do number 6. That's this one right here. All right. It says, find the values of x and y and state which theorems you used. Okay, so this one's two-step. You have your y up here, you have your x. You have multiple ways to look at these and to figure out which way is the easiest. So if you wanted to do these two are corresponding angles. Your other choice is to do these two. These are vertical angles. It doesn't matter which way you go first. So let's do the corresponding angles. So corresponding angles right here are equal to each other. 3x minus 4 equals 59, and that's corresponding. And this is for the x value. Solve. 3x is equal to, is that 63? X is equal to 21 when you divide both sides by 3. So there's your x value. On these, it's only asking you to find the value of x. It doesn't ask you to plug it back in and find the angle value, but you already know what the angle value has to be because these are corresponding angles, they're the same. Let's try these right here, the 2y and the 59. Those are vertical angles. So for the y value, move that up. For the y value, they're vertical angles. Right? And vertical angles, as you guys know, are equal to each other. Going the wrong way, sorry. So we're going to get 2y equals 59. Divide both sides by 2. Y equals 59 over 2. Okay. When you have that, remember, a fraction is an appropriate answer. I know a lot of you guys freak out when you get a fraction as an answer, but that's appropriate. When you plug it back in, you're going to get the same answer. So it's not going to be a problem. To make sure that when you're doing this, you have confidence in your math. Okay, you know they're either equal to each other or they're equal to 180. So stick with that and have a little confidence in your math when you get a fraction. Don't freak out. You'll be all good. All right, let's try number 7. It's really weird looking at this. Try 7. Let me zoom in on 7. See if we do that. If I can make this thing work. Oh my goodness. I'm awful at this. All right. Can you guys see 7? Let me know if you can't see it. I'll move it. All right. So 7, you have different options. Here are your parallel lines. Here's your transversal. The easiest thing to do, in my opinion, first, would be to hit these two right here. Okay. Those two right there are a linear pair. So if we're doing the x value, once again, we're doing the x value. Okay, I'm looking at it as a linear pair. Again, on your exam, all 3 things you're going to be asking, they're going to ask for. They're going to ask for the relationship. They're going to ask you to write the equation, and then they're going to ask you to solve. So I'm going to say that for the x value, those two are a linear pair. Linear pairs are equal to 180. So I am going to get 3x plus 45 equals 180. Subtract 45 to both sides. 3x is equal to 135. You guys want me to go slower through this part? I can go slower. Divide both sides by 3. X is going to be equal to, goes in 445. All right, with your y value, this way. With your y value, you have these two right here. That would be the easiest. Those are corresponding angles. So corresponding angles are equal to each other. Y minus 4 equals 45. Add 4 to both sides. Y is equal to 49. Okay. So far, so good. Start chatting if you guys have any questions or if you want me to do any particular problems from the review sheets I gave you today. I'm going to go over a couple of the ones that Arno gave us today also because I like his review sheet from today. All right, let's do 8. 8 is right here. Again, you have an x and a y value. These two are corresponding, so you set them equal to each other. Let's see their corresponding angles. Subtract 3x. 23 is equal to 1x. So x is equal to 23. For your y value, you got this guy right here. You have a few different options. I think that plugging x back in here and solving this as a linear pair is your easiest choice. So I would find this angle first. And to do that, I'm going to take my 23 and I'm going to plug it back in there. So I'm going to get 23 times 4, which is going to give me 92. All right, that's 92 right there. And then I know that this plus this for my y value, put that up. For my y value, I'm going to say that it's a linear pair. And in my linear pair, I have y plus 92 equals 180. And then you subtract 92 to both sides. You get y is equal to, again, I saw more basic math mistakes on the last exam than I did algebra mistakes or geometry mistakes. You guys made the most amount of mistakes on these stuff like this. So don't make mistakes on that kind of stuff. So there's that one at y is equal to 88. And then the last one on this page, let's do number 9, which is right there. Okay. These two are vertical angles, but we have 2 different variables, so that makes it a little bit hard. A lot of you guys would benefit from just turning your paper a little bit so you can see. I know a lot of you guys are used to writing your parallel lines this way with your transversal cutting down this way. If that's easier for you, just move the paper in whichever way is easiest for you guys to do this. With that, I have alternate exterior angles. So alternate exterior angles are always equal to each other. So I know you guys, I've seen you guys see it easier this way than this way, but let's solve that real quick. So alternate exterior angles, 5x is equal to 3x plus 50. Subtract 3x. You get 2x is equal to 50. X is equal to 25. This one right here, vertical angles. I know vertical angles are equal, and I can find the value of that one by plugging it back in. I think that's the easiest way to do that. So I'm going to go 25 times 5, which is going to give me 125. So this value right here is 125. For y, I have vertical angles. I'm going to just start abbreviating, and I'm going to set them equal to each other. Subtract 12. and y is equal to 113. All right. Any questions on those? Questions? Okay. I want to go over a couple of Arno's things. You guys can chime in if you have questions. The one I really want to make sure we know, because it is, I believe, we're 3 points on your exam tomorrow, is the perpendicular bisector. And with the perpendicular bisector, the name of the game is following directions. So in class, we practice this a lot. You guys did not have problems on your construction of it, the actual moving the compass and creating what these are called construction marks. On your exam, you need to leave your construction marks. Do not erase these. So leave your construction marks. So leave construction marks and follow directions. That's the best advice I can give you. So we're constructing a perpendicular bisector. So we want to make sure we label both of those. In order for it to be perpendicular, make sure you draw in the right angle. That's going to get you partial credit on that. The construction marks will get you partial credit. The line going down here, and he says he wants it named Peter. Okay, so we need to make sure we label our line. Now, sometimes they'll label it, AD, whatever letters they choose, but Arno wanted it labeled Peter. So let's label our line Peter. So we've addressed Peter, we've addressed the perpendicular. We need to address the bisector. Remember, bisector means that it cuts it in two. So that's cuts into two equal pieces, which means you need to be able to, in the middle of these, make sure you make your little hash marks, which show that it's congruent. That shows that this piece right here, this guy right here, is equal to this guy right here. So all those things you're going to want to do, the hash marks for sure for the bisector, the right angle for the perpendicular part, and label it however you need to label. So far, so good. Tomorrow, that's an easy, don't screw that up. Easy free points on your test. All right. Midpoint, this one was like an error analysis midpoint, but remember your midpoint formula is x1 plus x2 divided by 2, and then y1 plus y2 divided by 2. There will be a question on midpoint on your exam, so make sure you guys can do that. And if we look at Arno's actual review sheet, see if he has any of those. Nope. So let's just do this one so you guys can see why it's wrong. I did this one today in class. We have our x1, y1, x2, y2. You add them together and divide by 2. -2 plus 6 divided by 2, which gets me 4 over 2, which equals 2. My x value is 2. Already, I know that this answer is wrong. So I know this was an error analysis test, so we need to show where Arno went wrong. He went wrong, he forgot to divide it by 2. Same with this one, we had 7 plus 3 divided by 2, which gives me 5. So in any kind of error analysis, you'll get the steps, but you can see where he went wrong. He forgot to divide them by 2. All right. Start with solving equations. Solving equations is on your test again. It's on it through just the actual solving of the theorems and those, but then you're going to have to do regular solving equations. So I'm going to solve these real quick for you guys because it's on your exam again. This was the review sheet given out today. We did not go over this in my class today. Mr. Barsonis has just signed in, spending his evening watching me tutor. So x equals 4. It's nice, Mr. Barsonis. I hope Jack's on here too, Jack and Sydney, because they're the ones that made it all happen. You can see if we like this or not. This problem right here, very missed on the last exam. Remember, this is a division. It's 1/4. We need to multiply both sides by 4. And you're going to get x is equal to 4 times a -3, which is -12. Continuing on down here. Again, these are simple one-step equations. Variables on one side, everything else on the other. See where you're at. 8y is equal to, and again, this is where I see a lot of mistakes on the basic math part. Honestly, go back to your elementary school days where you had to borrow and bring your 1 over so that you make less mistakes. Divide both sides by 8. Y is equal to 7. Okay, I would take this answer in my class. If you left it as 56/8, I would take that answer in my class if you didn't simplify it like that, because I think it just said to solve it. So that answer's fine if you're afraid of screwing the easy part up here. Okay, gets a little bit more complicated right here. Two-step equations, got to move these guys over and these guys over. I'm going to do them one step at a time. It doesn't matter which way you start. It doesn't matter which way your variables go. I'm going to add 13. 3x is equal to 15. Divide both sides by 3. X equals 5. All right, here's the tricky one. I'm going to subtract 3x, and I get those guys dropping out, and I get -7 equals 0. All right, -7 equals 0. That answer is called no solution. I believe when you answer equations tomorrow on your test, there is stuff like this where you have to check the box, like is a solution 1, 2, or no solution. Remember, when these two don't equal each other, it's called no solution. When they do equal each other, it's infinitely many. I don't think that's going to be on your test tomorrow. That one, though, there is stuff like that. So trust in your math, trust in what you see. When your variables drop out and the sides are not equal, no solution. All right, and then this one, I like questions like this. I saw this was missed a lot. All the teachers, based on the data, said that these questions were missed a lot. You need to combine like terms on both sides. So these are your like terms on the left side of the equation. You can't manipulate this and add 9 here, add 9 here. You have to deal with what's on this side together. So this side right here, that's going to make 2x plus 4. On this side, this right here is what I need to put together. So it's -3 minus 10. That's a -13. Again, a lot of trouble with this stuff on the test, not the harder stuff. So careful with your negative numbers. And then I'm going to solve. So on this one, I'm going to subtract my 3x. Careful again with your negative numbers. That's -1x plus 4 equals -13. I'm going to subtract 4 to both sides. I get -1x equals -17. And then I can't have this here. So when I divide out my -1, x is equal to +17. All right. This is the one that we did not go over today in class. This is the one that Arno made up. Don't mind this crazy line down the middle. That was part of the printer. So it's not another parallel line. He has labeled his parallel lines right here. Remember this little mark right here, these markings right here indicate that these are parallel. There's your transversal. And then you can go with your equations as need be. Angle relation, equation, solve. Angle relation, equation, solve. Always the same thing. So here we go again. These guys right here, corresponding angles. I'm sorry, same side interior angles. Same side interior. Okay, interior. Be good if I could spell. Am I off the page? There we go. Same side interior angles. Same side interior angles are equal to 180. These are equal to 180. These are also called consecutive interior angles. So if there's a multiple choice and it asks you for consecutive interior angles, make sure you know both words for it. Consecutive interior. Ooh, good job, Mr. Barsonis. Sorry, I get distracted reading your comments. The grind never stops for athletes, my friend. Why do you think I'm doing this? I understand athletes have a lot of practice, a lot of things to do, so trying to make it so that you can get a little tutoring on the side. I know a lot of kids have to do weeklies. I saw a lot of weeklies last week come through for athletes, and they were struggling in geometry. So here we go. Same side interior or consecutive interior angles, they are equal to 180. This plus this equal 180. Again, I feel like a broken record when I say it, and I will say it again. Your choices are they equal each other or they equal 180. They equal each other or they equal 180. So 8x plus, combine your like terms right there, 84 equals 180. All right, don't screw up the easy part now. Again, this is the part that I would go to. Do all the hard work correctly and then mess up the easy stuff. Subtract 84 to both sides. You have 180 minus 84. I know a lot of you guys are taking out your calculators. Don't take out your calculators because you can't have the calculators on the test. 96. Divide both sides by 8. And then you're going to get x equals 12. Look, no shame in going back and doing division this way. Go with math the way you're most comfortable doing math. Okay? No one gets points off for doing math this way. You don't get extra points for doing math in your head. So help yourselves out. Don't miss the easy points. If you got the error analysis review sheet today, remember, if you pick the wrong angle relation, that's 1 point. Okay, so I'll show you guys one where he picked the wrong angle relation, but he still did everything else right and got 2 out of 3 points. So don't give up on a problem. Show work so that I know that you know what you're doing. And even if you make a mistake at the very end, like at the solving part, or you make this 97 or 95 or whatever, I can give you partial credit. Don't just quit on it. All right, let's do this one. Parallel lines. He says so right here. Transversal. Again, don't mind the printer line. Alternate exterior angles. Okay? Alternate exterior angles are equal to each other. So, alternate exterior angles. Unfortunately, there's only one way to get this, and it's just to memorize them. So 3y minus 14 equals 2y plus 31. And we're back to the same thing, solving equations. Y is equal to 45. If you're in my class, you know better. Enclose all your answers. It makes a difference so we can see them. This guy right here at the bottom. Let's see if I can leave that up for you guys. Okay. Angle relation equation solve. This is the bulk of your exam tomorrow. There are 6, I believe, questions that are like this with different angle relations, some with multiple variables. This is it. This is the meat and potatoes for tomorrow. These are corresponding angles. Corresponding angles, they're either equal to each other or they're equal to 180. Again, those are your only choices. So corresponding angles are equal to each other. I'll go with 5n minus 6 equals 2n plus 57. Subtract that. I'm not even on the paper. Not that way. All right. 3n minus 6 equals 57. Solve away. Again, if you get a fraction, it's okay. This one's going to come out as a whole number. If you get a fraction, it's okay. The computer is not making these exams. We're making these exams. So there's going to be things on there that it's just the way it's going to happen. All right. This one's kind of cool. If we look at number 7 right here, I know a lot of you guys don't like papers like that. So if you want to look at it this way, there's your parallel line, there's your transversal. Maybe it's a little easier for you to see it that way. No one says you can't turn your paper around. Not a problem. So this one wants you to list all pairs of vertical angles. Vertical angles are across from each other. So with these guys being your parallel lines, your vertical angles are 1 and 3 right here, 2 and 4 this way, 6 and 8, 5 and 7. All right. Your alternate exterior angles. Remember, it's exterior. They're on the outside of the transversal. On the outside of the transversal. So here's inside. These guys are outside. So outside the transversal for this one, you've got 1 and 7, 4 and 6. So there's one pair. There's the other pair. All right. He got a little tricky on us. He has SS interior. Again, that is same side interior. And the other word for same side interior is consecutive interior. Sound like a broken record right now, but here we go again. And then we go here. So again, this is just listing, no problem. All right. Problems that you want me to do. If you have any problems you want me to do, I think everybody kind of had the same review sheets. I know Arno gave these out to everybody today. I know a lot of my stuff went out to other teachers as well. So if there's something in particular you need help with, we can go over that stuff. There are, on your test tomorrow, oh my goodness. On your test tomorrow, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a cheat sheet so that you guys can see. Let me find more paper around here because more paper. Okay. So for your exam tomorrow, here's what's going to be on it. You ready? All right. You're going to have to do one construction. And I hope everybody practice their construction. It's a perpendicular bisector. So that's going to be on your test tomorrow. You have to do the construction. It's a perpendicular bisector. You have to know all the angle relations. You have to be able to set up equations and then solve. So each of those questions, like the ones we've been doing, are worth 3 points apiece. One for the angle relation, which again, sometimes they use theorem, sometimes they use postulate. Whatever vocabulary word they want to use, it's all the same thing. So you're going to have to know those. This is, like I said, that's the meat and potatoes of your test. Review questions on your test include, so review questions are midpoint, the protractor question, where I gave you the protractor, it kind of looked like that, and then they give you all the different angles, and they're like, which ones are acute, which ones are obtuse, is this angle that kind of question. So those are the review questions. And then solving equations is on there again for review. All right. One of the problems that I really liked, see if I have it here and all my 1,000 review sheets, was something that looked like this. And it's this little diagram down here on the bottom. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. Okay. So I got a lot of questions on skew, parallel, perpendicular. Okay, remember on an exam, parallel lines are indicated like that. That's a symbol. Perpendicular is like that. All right, so the biggest questions I got on this one right here were to name, this one right here. Is line F parallel to line G? Is line F parallel to line G? Okay, this guy right here and this guy right here. You can't go off of what it looks like. Okay, you can't do that. You have to go off of what's given. So the only thing that's given with these two lines is that this guy right here has a right angle, so that line E is perpendicular to F, but we know nothing about F and G. So careful with that. It doesn't matter what it looks like. These guys here are parallel. They tell you they're parallel. That's what this little guy right here is indicating. They're giving you that those are parallel. Down here, don't assume that. So when it asks you to name a pair of parallel lines, that's it. Those are the ones that are given. This guy right here is line F parallel to line G. Your answer is going to have to be no, because there's not enough information given. We can't decide that. That's not okay. All right. The other one down here is line E perpendicular to line G. Is E perpendicular to line G? Well, we know E is perpendicular to F because they tell us right here, in order for something to be perpendicular, it has to give you the right angle. Has to give you the right angle, okay? Otherwise, this guy right here, we're not going to assume that based on this drawing. So go with what the drawing gives you, not with what you think. Same thing when you're adding up angles. Not sure if that's going to be on the test, but if it is, remember you can't assume the right angle. So unless it's given. So that was a big one that I had a lot of questions on. I believe there are questions like this on your exam, but it is done in a cube. So back to what's on the test tomorrow. Okay. Construction, angle relations, those kind of things. The other thing that's on the test is parallel perpendicular lines. I think it asks you to name a pair of skew lines. I think actually these are in true or false form. So you'll get 50-50, so that's cool. 50-50 chances, pretty good. All right, what else do I have around here for you guys? Let's do the error analysis that Arno gave out. One of his, really good. There is an error analysis question on your exam, so forgive Arno's writing, okay? We're grateful that he does it. I'm gonna show you guys one where he does things incorrectly, but still got points. It's this one down here, I believe. It's number 4. All right. This way, this way. Okay, so here's Arno's paper. What we did today with this review sheet is we went over this, and in groups, my class, they basically graded his paper if this was an exam. Told them this one was worth 3 points. Did he do everything right? Okay, so right here, these angles are not supplementary. All right, clearly they're not, but he wrote that they're supplementary. So that guy, that one's wrong automatically, okay? So that's not correct. However, this part right here, he set up correctly if it was supplementary. So he doesn't get docked for setting up this equation wrong based on his wrong answer here. So he set them up and set them equal to 180. For writing the equation, we would still give him 1 point on that. So even if you get this one wrong, this matches this. They're equal to 180, even though it's not correct. We're still going to give him partial credit for that. And then he goes ahead and he solves, and he did that. So it's still possible to get partial credit, and that's what I want to show you guys for your exam tomorrow. You can't remember the angle relation? Put something in there. If it's wrong, and this is still correct, and this is still correct, 2 out of 3 points on these is not bad. Okay, here's one that he did completely correctly. It was number 1, I believe. These guys right here, alternate exterior angles. His equation, he set this equal to that. Alternate exterior angles are equal. Can you please do the relation one more time? Which one? Okay, so I'll get back to you, Leo. Give me a second. Alternate exterior angles. 6x minus 9 equals 111. He added 9 to both sides. He added correctly. He divided by 6. He divided correctly. This whole thing was correct. All right. So this one's all good. There is a problem like this on your exam where a problem was worked out for you, and you have to either show where the mistake is or say, hey, it's always good to go. All right. Leo, just type in what you want and tell me what you mean by the relation one more time. Which one? What kind of relationship do you want me to do? Like a corresponding, alternate interior. This one right here, he has one that says none. Where is it? It's down here. Let's look at this one. Okay, let's look at these guys right here. All right, these two angles right here, they don't have a direct relationship. I don't know if this is what you guys are talking about, but this and this right here are the same. These two are the same because these are corresponding angles. And then I know that this plus this is going to equal 180. So I can move this up here, but these two right here, I would say your answer, your best answer would just be straight up supplementary. They're supplementary. When you add them together, they're going to equal 180. All right. If you put they don't have a direct angle relation, I would completely take that as full credit. Okay. But knowing that this one is the same as this one right here because these are corresponding angles. And then, so like up here, I basically get 3t plus 9. It's the same. And I know that these two guys right here, those guys give me a linear pair. Those guys give me a linear pair. Like I said, no direct angle relation, if you were to explain it, is okay. These are supplementary angles, but they don't have a direct angle relation. All right, so supplementary, we're going to set them equal to, we're going to add them up and set them equal to 180. These are a linear pair this way, but again, like that, kind of tricky. If we were to solve this, you're going to get 3t plus 9 plus 4t minus 13 equals 180. If you are tired of me solving equations, I can stop solving equations and we can move on. But like I said, this is what your test is on, so might as well do it. Combine like terms. All right, I have 7t minus 4 equals 180. I'm going to add 4 to both sides. 7t equals 184. Now I know this is not what's written on this paper. This is his error analysis. I'm just solving it correctly for you. So t is equal to 184 divided by 7. There you go. Again, leave it like that if you're going to divide it out. Okay, make sure you divide it out. Do the math the way you need to do math. You know you can't use calculators on this exam. So none, as far as none being an option, like I talked about it in my class. I don't know if your teachers talked about it, especially this type of problem. We all agreed that supplementary would be fine. And again, none I don't really like as an answer, but I do understand that like these two have no direct angle correlation. You have to be able to move one around before you get there. All right. His other error analysis. I think we did these. I did all these in my class today. All right. Let's do this one. Multiple variables. All right, multiple variables. So you have to figure out how you want to make these angle relations. There are multiple choices for you guys to do this. I think alternate exterior angles and alternate interior angles. Okay, so here, I'm gonna answer this question right now. If I'm looking at this one right here, okay? This guy right here and this one right here are alternate interior angles. These are alternate interior angles. Alternate interior angles. All right. Alternate exterior angles would be like this one and this guy up here. Or on the other side, this guy and this guy. They're on the outside of the parallel lines. These guys are inside the parallel lines. Here's your two parallel lines. These guys are inside of it. Okay, so they're interior angles. They're alternate because you have one on this side of the transversal and one on this side of the transversal. All right, alternate interior angles are equal to each other. So we would set those equal to each other. You guys see here? Let's go 9t plus 22 equals 112. Okay, on these problems, again, 1 point for getting this part correct. 1 point for setting up the equation. 1 point for solving it correctly. I'm going to subtract 22. I get 9t is equal to 90. Divide both sides by 9. T is equal to 10. All right. Okay. It just asked me to solve. I didn't have to find this one. I didn't have to do anything with it. You have other ways that you can go about doing this. So there's more than one answer. If I were to do these two, let me get a different colored pen here. Let's try. Jacked all my kids' pens tonight. All right. This guy and this guy right here, they're vertical angles. So this purple one, those are vertical angles. All right. Or I have this one and this one, which I can do also. So you have all these different options for figuring out an angle relation based on how much work you want to do. So let's say you only saw the vertical. You don't remember what these guys are. Not a problem. You can still plug this in for t, get this, and set them equal to each other. So I know what t is. I'm going to plug it in. That gives me 90 plus 22 equals 112. All right. This guy right here is 112. I already know that because they're alternate interior angles. I know that these guys right here are equal also. Okay, I don't even have to do, I know that this is going to equal 112. So I get 4x plus 12 equals 112. And that's because they're vertical. Or I do it here because they're corresponding. Multiple choices. I get 4x is equal to 100. Divide both sides by 4. X is equal to 25. Okay. Leo, did I answer your question on alternate interior and exterior angles, or do you want me to put up like here, this problem right here, this guy right here, alternate exterior angles. They're on the outside of the parallel lines. They're on opposite sides of the transversal. Here are your parallel lines, transversal, alternate exterior angles. See if these guys right here that we just did, two parallel lines. These guys are on the inside, on opposite sides of the transversal, alternate interior angles. Okay. Any more questions? Want me to do another problem? You guys good with this? You guys overloaded? Where is that? This was a fun one that Arno did that even I screwed up on today because I was rushing. So I thought that that was fantastic. This one right here, he added 13 to both sides. Okay, and it looks like you did everything right. You got this. But when you slow down, that's actually equal to 90, not 100. So that guy is wrong. This was, again, an error one. So we were just looking to see where he made mistakes. But at first glance, honestly, I just quickly went over it. I'm like, oh, yeah, he's good. No, he's not. This guy down here, when he did his what, bruh? What's going on? Same thing here. Remember, this guy right here is no solution. There is no credit for what and bruh. Sorry. But no solution because 0 doesn't equal -7. You are not expected to put things in decimals. You don't have to do that. You're not given calculators, so don't ever feel like you need to leave your answers like that. Again, for like a question like this one, I'm okay with that. That's simplified depending on what it's asking you to do. All right. I feel like I've done a gazillion problems. We can do more if you want to do more. Okay, let's do this one. In vocabulary, I think some people had some trouble with this one. This says the measure of angle 1, the measure of angle 2, the measure of angle 3. So when you see stuff like that, just know that that's what that means. It's the measure of angle 3. That's the notation for that. You can pick however you want to do this. I like to go the easiest ones first. This is the easiest one I see first, which is 1. Those are vertical angles. So for number 1, I'm going to put vertical angles. And vertical angles are congruent, so that's going to be 112. I just used a word. I don't know if everybody was taught that word, but the word I just used was congruent. Okay, and congruent means that they're equal to each other. It means they're equal to each other. The symbol for congruent is that, and congruent means that they are equal to each other. Okay, so that's what that one means. But here we go, 112. 1 and 3 are corresponding. Yes, they are. Okay, 1 and 2 are same side interior or consecutive interior. These two equal 180. 3 and this guy up here are alternate exterior. So again, for 3, you don't have to do any math. For 3, it's going to equal 112 as well, angle 3, because those are alternate exterior angles. Or, like you said, that 1 and 3 are corresponding. They're equal. And then we got this guy, number 2. So you have multiple ways to figure this out. I know this guy's 112, 112, 112. If I turn it this way, do you guys see that right here I have a linear pair? I have a linear pair right there, so I can just go 180 minus 112 to get this one. I have same side interior angles right here, which would be this guy and this guy, which have to equal 180. So either way, it's going to be 180 minus 112 will get you the other one. So 180 minus 112. Again, when you have multiple answers like this, whatever you guys come up with is fine. Just you have to be able to defend your answer. So let's go again. I've got 68. So angle 2 is going to be 68. Angle 2 is 68. All right. On your exam, these are fun, but all of these are parallel lines. So you can just circle your way around it. You got corresponding. Depending on how you look at it, you can look at it this way. That way is fun. Another perpendicular bisector example. I don't have a compass on me, but remember, right here, construction marks on your paper, meaning you're going to leave however it comes down. You're going to label it. You're going to put the right angle on it. So when it comes down, you're going to put the right angle on it. You're going to mark it as congruent. And then you're going to label it, whatever this one is, labeled DC. And you'll have your construction marks that kind of come down like this and cross down here. But you do that with a compass. Obviously, you don't do it gross like this. Okay, so I'll put this back up. I think I've solved every single problem I've given you guys in the last week. For my class tomorrow, we are shooting for an 80. Oh my God, this is like, I'm so lame. Okay, we are shooting for an 83% test average overall. And for everyone else's class, good luck. And we will see you guys tomorrow.